I'm Dan Drake. This is Front Up. Our guest today is Michael Cozort, the superintendent of the Nantucket Public Schools. Mike, welcome.
Thank you, Dan.
Nice
Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you back again.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It has.
One of the things we talked about last time was enrollment. And let's use enrollment as a start jumping off point here.
Okay. Well, it's funny because when I was looking to come to Nantucket 5 years ago now, I remember looking at the enrollment and saying to my wife, well, I won't have to build a school because enrollment had gone down for 3 years from, I think, 2007 through 2010, which of course reflected the economy at the time. Right. And since I arrived, and I take no credit, our numbers have gone up each year. We've added over 300 students in the last, close to 350 students in the last 5 years, to an already full elementary school, which was originally designed for 450 students, was expanded at one time to reach a capacity of 550, and is now serving almost 750 students in the elementary school. And of course we have modular classrooms outside. And so last year we started talking seriously about a building program, although I don't think it's been any secret. We've talked about it for a few years now. But we put together a building committee, and we engaged architects to do an existing studies report, a report of our existing conditions in our facilities. And we engaged demographers to give us an idea of what's going to happen in the next 20 years. And the report came back that our numbers will continue to rise until 2020.
By how much?
Well, considerably. And although at the tail end of that, they start to taper a little bit. But we could have 850 students in the elementary school in 10 years. So clearly, we needed to expand our facilities. And the building committee has met over the last 6 months. And we have determined to build a grades 3 through 5 elementary school, which would allow our existing school to house pre-kindergarten through 2nd grade. With a new 3 through 5, we could move the community school and the early childhood center into the primary school, which is where I think the early childhood center should be for the community. And we're also moving the superintendent's offices out of the high school because they need extra space. So a new building would allow the superintendent's offices to go into the pre-K through 2, giving us some added space throughout the district. In addition to the grade 3 through 5, what I would call an intermediate school, we would put on a smaller addition to the middle school because our numbers are going to roll through the entire district.
But most of the growth has occurred in the elementary school.
Most of the growth has occurred in the elementary school. We have, the past 2 years, we've had a kindergarten of 136 students, and this year I think it's 124. And those numbers are replacing class sizes of, 80, 90.
Sort of what one has thought for the last quite a few years, average class size of 90 to 100, something like that.
Exactly. And but we have to be, I would caution people to understand that while it's an elementary problem right now, those numbers are also going to be rolling through the middle and high school.
Let's talk about that in a few minutes. Let's talk about the elementary school first. So you are at the point now where you generally have determined what you want and sort of what you need. And the question is where to put it. Is that not sort of the next step there?
There are several questions, but you're right. That's first on everybody's mind, where might the site be for such a school? In response to that, one of the first things that the site review committee, which is a subcommittee of the building committee, has done is to identify 6 or 7 sites with the parameter from the community. We've heard that they want us to try to keep a campus, the entire campus together, and not have a school 1 mile, 2 miles, 5 miles away.
Right. So you've got some site plans here. Are there some that are perhaps more preferred than others?
Yes, I think while we started with 7, they have it down to 4 sites at this time. One site, and just to orient you and our listeners, this is Surfside Road.
Right.
The high school is here. The soccer field, softball field in the middle, or the valley, some people refer to it, and the elementary school is here. The fields look a little bit different because this is a future plan for moving fields. So one option...
Is this the skating rink?
Yes, that's the skating rink, right. One option, you can see in orange there, would be to put the building where the existing parking lot for the elementary school is. And of course, all of the sites are being looked at with traffic flow and parking in mind. And I would say not just traffic flow and parking for the elementary, for the primary and intermediate school, but how that would impact the middle school and high school. So that is one.
Is this an existing
option,
lot, or is that a new lot?
That would be a new lot.
And this would be a new lot?
And that would be a new
And
lot.
this one?
Actually,
is
this
part of
whole
the-
area
this
is
the
parking
existing
now.
parking lot. Okay.
Correct.
How many square feet? What's the ground cover of this building? Do you know?
Well, the square footage of the building, it would be almost 70,000 square feet.
Is it all on one level, or is it?
No, it would be on two
levels.
levels. So your question is a good one. What is the actual footprint? Because we anticipate that the 3rd grade would be on the ground floor with library, music, art, and the 4th and 5th graders would be in an academic wing above. So the footprint might be roughly 50,000 square feet. So that is one option. Another option that is being considered is back here, which is where, behind the soccer softball field. Each of these options is being examined, as I said, for traffic flow.
For the whole campus.
For the whole campus. This has implications for First Way.
Is First Way a public road?
Well, it
do we
is.
know?
It is. I think there's a question because, as I understand, it's a public road, but there is a section of it that is reserved by the state for the schools, and I don't know how that works. One of the things in the master design that people are talking about is there a way that we could have a loop in back of the school to take traffic off of Surfside Road.
Right. Well, there was some talk at one point about doing it down, this was many years ago, I think, doing it down directly to Sparks Avenue.
Right. Right. So that's another option. As I said, each of these has pros and cons.
This would sort of limit you for future parking for the high school.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
This is a third option, similar to option 1, but oriented a little bit differently. Again, they need to look at traffic flow. Would you have a separate bus-only entrance and then cars going through here and maybe out? A lot of things still to look at. We have narrowed down the options, and I'll show after the 4th option here. Again, back to this area, but oriented a little bit differently. 2 of the other options, or actually 3 of the other options that were examined, 2 of them were on Bacchus Lane. And the site review committee reviewed that, looked at the deed restrictions, which at this point would preclude building on there. It's reserved from the Backus family for athletics. And the site review committee and school committee, I think, have determined that we will respect those deed restrictions and not build a school over there.
And then this land is unavailable because it's private houses.
That's houses, you're correct. There's a house here, and there are houses here. One of the considerations that you've sort of touched on is, future building.
Right.
And I'm sure we'll touch on that shortly.
Okay.